so much. All right, so today my message is called Let It Shine. And did you know that darkness, which is the opposite to brightness, is understood as a lack of illumination or an absence of visible light? Now, visible light is usually defined as having wavelengths. The reason why I share this is to establish that as human beings, we are limited to seeing our own natural light or the essence of our illumination. We can easily, though, flip the switch by being spiritually aware of the visible light energy we call the power of the Christ within. So today we're going to explore letting it shine, but let us first affirm our statements of being together, please.
I am a child of God.
I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. I said statements of being instead of our statements of truth, but we already did the statements of being. Thank you very much. Well, Emily Cady, who was a great New Thought teacher, wrote this in her text, Lessons in Truth. I love Lessons in Truth. If you haven't read it, please grab a copy and read it. She said, the light that we want is not something that God has to give. It is God himself, which I don't really like to pronounce it because God is more than he. But God does not give us life or love as a thing. God is life and light and love. More of God in our consciousness, then, is what we all want, no matter what other name we may give it. Do you understand that?
Yes.
God is light, life, and love, and so are we. We have that essence within us. And I think that once we establish that capital T truth in our consciousness, we have ignited a spark that will at some point blast forth with a mighty flame from our consciousness. You know, it seems as humans that we are always wanting something out there, isn't it? I mean, whatever we are driving today, we might appreciate it, but we might be saying, oh, I can't wait till I can buy that other car. Or the house that we're in, you know, oh, I love this house, but I wish it had this, or this was different, or I need to change that, or maybe I just need a new house. No offense, Bill. I'm not talking about you. But I think that also makes us think about the idea of putting God out there too. You know, that God, we start thinking that everything's out there waiting for us to get or grab. And so we think God is out there too, waiting for us to get or grab, when God is in the midst of us with every breath we take. And we forget that. We forget that that's where we need to live from. And once we know that truth, that capital T truth, that God is within us, it does change something. Now, even if you have people that say they don't get what you believe, or they think that you might not be Christian, or they think that you might not be thinking the way they do, once you give them a piece of capital T truth, it's going to do something within them. You know, the youth ed person that I met at Walmart that I thought was going to maybe work out, you know, she brought back the book and she said, I just don't really believe the same as you. And I said, that's okay. You know, I'd rather know now than you be teaching our kids something that we don't believe. You know, it's a good thing. But I knew in that moment of her saying that to me, that she had something within her had been sparked by reading that curriculum. I know she's on fire right now. She might not know what the burning is inside of her, but she's on fire, believe you. Believe you me, because she has read that truth, that capital T truth, and it ignites something for you to search out something more. And yes, sometimes we look for it outside of ourselves. When we know that if we go within, it comes forth, and if we go within, we're staying open to whatever it is that we are going to be exposed to. But God is that bright light shining within us, radiating out, and that is where that light comes from, and that is how we keep that light going. Now we might say, how do we do this? How do we keep the light flaming? Because, you know, something could come along and we make a little comment, or we think that negative thought, or, you know, we get out there and start our car and go, oh God, I'm sick of this car. You know, we jump right back into the playing field, don't we, of stuff out there again. But how do we stay illuminated in that place of knowing that capital T truth, knowing that God is in the midst. Well, we do this by our thoughts, words, and actions, don't we? We have to align them with truth. You know, Myrtle Fillmore, who is a co-founder of Unity, she's got a couple good books too, always recommended to people that if you are feeling down or blue, or you're getting negative, or you're thinking everything just sucks, you know, she would always recommend to go start cleaning. Start cleaning and just get busy, clean. Because she says what it does is it switches your mind and it opens you up to being in service to somebody else. She said you might be cleaning your own house, or you might go off and do something of service for somebody else, but it puts you in a different perspective. It puts you in a different frame of mind, and you start illuminating your own light in that process. And I think that's, you know, it's wise, and I have used it a lot, and it does flip that switch within you to shine the light. We have a lot of people here that are caregivers for other people, you know, and sometimes that's so frustrating and so hard. I mean, you know, I've been challenged having two babies, you know, under the Aiden's 13 months, but still, you know, I mean, it's hard sometimes caring for these two babies. I know there are adults in here that are caring for other adults. That's tough too, you know, but the thing is that when we get that feeling within that we're doing the work we're supposed to do, a smile comes on our face, or we feel some joy, or we can laugh about something that maybe last week we were mad about, you know, or upset about. It changes our perspective if we stay in balance with truth. It really does. If we keep that light lit. Now, sometimes we hide our light out of fear. We do. Fear of what other people might think about us, fear of what they don't understand. Like I was saying before, when other people say, oh, where do you go? And you say Unity, some people will say, oh, what's that? Or maybe they've heard something about Unity, or they Googled Unity, and the first thing that popped up was, is Unity a cult? You know, which I think my brother did. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is that when that happens, they're not understanding. But we go back to that truth. If somebody comes to me and they don't know what Unity is, and they're not really quite sure, and they might think that I might not be the kind of Christian that they think I should be, you know, all I have to do is say something like, oh, I believe in the Christ within. I said a capital T truth, and they realize that, and they align with that. They can agree to that, and they feel like a little, it's almost like you can hear a big sigh afterwards. It's like, they go, oh. Or if I say, well, we believe in the Bible, and we you know, follow Jesus' teachings. We might not follow them the way you do, but I don't say that little caveat. You know, that's in my parentheses in my mind. But still, if I say that, it's kind of like they go, oh, again. You know, the thing is, truth is truth. And whether we interpret it our way or they interpret it their way, it's still truth. And it still can be that golden thread that goes through and radiates that light. You see? Truth radiates light. When we live from truth, we are radiating. And other people want to be a part of our light because they sense or feel the energy. It's true. We all have friends we want to be around, don't we? Everybody's got those friends you want to be around. Or maybe you come here to church so you can be around some friends that feel the same way you do, or think the same way you do, or can validate your concept and ideas about truth. But we all have those friends that we don't like to be around, or family members, that we don't like to be around too, don't we? And when we get around them, it's kind of hard sometimes to stay on that straight line. But the good news is that, you know, even if they think that they are living from truth and you don't see them living from truth, it doesn't matter. They still have the truth within them. And that's where we, as truth students, have to look beyond what is showing up on the outside. We have to always go to that Christ within and say, oh, I see the Christ within you. And whatever you're saying is like blah, 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 blah. Right? Now, the other thing we have to remember is that they have that light within them too, even if it's not shining. Because the light is there whether or not it looks like darkness. I mean, I have to behold the light in Jesse and, Grace right now, even though there's behaviors that aren't where I would like to see them be or aligned with what I would like to see them do. But I feel like if I can see the Christ in them, that's going to bring forth the Christ through them and keep sending them love. From John 1, verse 5, it says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." It's absolutely true. Even when the lights are off, there's still light, isn't there? Remember that the visible light is wavelengths. So even if we can't see the light, we feel the energy of the wavelengths, don't we? That's why in unity, a lot of people always say, "Oh, I feel the energy. I can feel, that it feels good." People walk in here from the festivals in the sanctuary and they say, "Oh man, this place feels good. The energy in here feels good." People that might not have ever said that before in their lives, but they feel the truth. They feel the energy. And that is the light that we are shining. Each and every one of you shine that light. And I love that because that's why I love seeing you every week. It's because I can feel that from you. And we share that light together. It's just powerful. And just, it sparks so much. And that energy that we feel, those wavelengths that we feel, are God energy. God energy moving through each and every one of us. We vibrate an energy of light, and I believe as we grow spiritually, that vibration becomes stronger, brighter, and more inviting. Do you believe that?
Yes.
I do. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I leave here on Sunday, I feel like I'm floating in the sky. Like I could be the sun itself. That bright light. Don't you feel that way? I see it in your faces. I see you sometimes come in, kind of tired or a little stressed. But then when you leave, you're like floating along happy and you're bright-faced, and it shows. That light shows. And I love that. I think it's so powerful. But that vibration of that shining light is the essence of who we are. We are that light. Can you claim that for yourself? Let's say it together. I am light. I am light. Yes. And the same light of truth that is the same that sparks the passion that is within us. A couple weeks ago, I spoke about passion, and I shared these questions with everybody, and so I'm going to put them up here. Do you have a passion and vision for Unity East?
Yes.
Hello? Jesus said, "Ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be open for you." Are we asking for what we want? Are you? Are you asking for what you want? Because that makes a big difference. You can't just assume, you're going to be walking around with all the good stuff just pouring from the sky for you, You have to ask. You have to ask, and sometimes it's just asking for the highest good. Okay, God, I know you're going to bring forth the highest good today. That is a big switch in itself to what can happen. Are we ready to receive it? That's the other thing. All the good that we want for ourselves, all the good we want for Unity East, we ask for it and we have to be willing to receive it. We can't say, "Oh no, that's okay. I didn't really need that today." How many people do that? Somebody wants to buy you a meal and you go, "Oh, it's okay. Well, I'll get my own." Or you'll turn it around and say, "I'll pay for you." Of course, there's some of those people that you don't want to be around all the time that do that every time so that you will pay for it. But, yeah. But we still pray for them and behold the Christ in them. Yeah. But anyway, we can't discount the good that comes forth. We have to be grateful for every bit of good that comes forth. That's how we keep our light shining. It's like having those bonfires out there on the property and we keep stoking the fire with more branches and stuff. That's what happens when we are grateful. When we receive what is ours to receive, we are stoking that fire of light within us. And then, are you with me?
Absolutely. Yes.
I hear two really powerful yeses over here. What? Hello?
Yes.
Let me go back to the first question. Do you have a passion and vision for Unity East, and are you with me?
Yes.
That's much better, because that's what happened a couple weeks ago, that everybody chimed in and had a great big yes, and I was like on fire. I thought, wow, I didn't even know I was bringing forth that Spirit of God so strong. But that's what truth is. It brings it forth when you are open and receptive to allowing it to be. And so that's what we have to do when we look at this whole thing. We have to be open and receptive, and we have to do our part to shine our light for truth. And guess what, folks? It takes everybody. It can't just be the 3 people that greet every so often, you know. It can't be just the person who brings the birthday cake that month. It can't be just those little things. It's going to have to be all of us working together to bring it forth. So there's 4 areas that can help us look at things in our lives and look at Unity East to be successful. Believe it or not, there are 4 simple things that you've probably even thought of before, or even had messages before, because I know I've done messages on these topics before, although it's been a long time. But here, oh, wait a minute, I better do this one first. You will decide on a matter, and it'll be established for you, and light will shine on your ways. We have to know that whatever we decide, whatever we ask for, whatever we are receiving, whatever we want to have, is going to show up. And it will shine the light. It will help make the light even brighter. So here's the 4 things. Thought, time, talent, and treasure. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And that's where your light will be. You know, 2 weeks ago I talked about the thought. I talked about what thoughts are we holding on to. And we talked about the law of mind action, didn't we? Thoughts held in mind. Let's say it together. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Whatever you're thinking is going to show up in your world. So we have to align our thoughts with capital T truth. We have to align our thoughts with the truth that we are the light of the world, and we're going to shine that light, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes. So whatever we think we lack or is limited is not true. We can bring forth the truth that we are the unlimited abundance of God by letting go and releasing anything that stands in our way of that. Any word that comes out of our mouth that sounds like lack, we need to cancel that out. That's what I talked about a few weeks ago. But the thing is that when our thoughts are aligned with truth, you know, sometimes we still have a hard time shining that light, don't we? We think, okay, I corrected that one. I go on the next sentence and I say something else, and then I go, okay, I corrected that one, and I keep going, and you know, pretty soon you're starting to beat yourself up because you feel like all you're doing is correcting what you're thinking or saying, right? Or maybe the actions that you know, like rolling your eyes at somebody. Then you go, oh God, I just rolled my eyes at somebody. Then you're rolling your eyes at yourself, right? Yeah, you get in that whole circle again. And we've got to stop at some point, right? We've got to be able to say, okay, where's that light of truth that I'm supposed to be shining that Reverend Francie talked about? Hello, I just keep jumping down the hill. Anyway, what we have to do at that point is just take a breath and clear our minds of anything that is a dark thought, anything that is not letting our light shine, and affirm for ourselves, I am letting my light shine today. I am the light. I am going to shine my light. Whatever it takes for you to be able to be that light, that's what we have to do. So, what does this mean for all of us? Well, it means that if we are each doing our part, then we're working together as a collective whole. We're starting to form a collective consciousness. Well, we already have, because all of you have lifted your consciousness over these years. Everybody that I know here is growing spiritually. I don't think anybody's been stagnant. You know, you're all growing. But ultimately, we will be building a larger community that can support all our dreams and desires for the new campus. And all it takes is changing our thoughts about what that looks like. When we change our thoughts, it will grow a bigger campus. It will provide the building. It will provide everything we need once we change our thoughts from lack and limitation. Our true thoughts also allow us to know that we have time to spare and share. So once we get our thoughts aligned with the light, you know, we will see that people want to be around us. How many people have done something or said something and somebody just starts being your friend? Anybody? Or like at work, yeah, or at work or just somewhere where you're at, and somebody that you never would have thought about before. You know why they're doing that? Because you're shining your light. Because you are living from your truth. And people feel that. You know? We're all here because we are all doing it, and we want to be around each other that is doing it. So when we go out into the world with people that maybe don't even know what that is, if they feel that energy, that same energy that we feel in this space, and they feel it from us, then they want to be around us. They want to be a part of that, and they might not even know what that is. But you know it, because you're beholding the Christ in them. And you'd be surprised how beholding the Christ in somebody else will really make that power connect. I mean, have you ever done that like at a grocery store? Just walk through the grocery store smiling and looking at everybody like they're just your best friend? Hey, I'll tell you what, it's fun. Try it sometime. Some people might think you're a little crazy, but pretty soon some people come up and start asking you where something is, or they'll say, oh, you know, do I know you? Yeah, you do. I'm a child of God. I know you. You know, I mean, it's true. If you illuminate yourself and send out that energy, people are going to wonder. And then guess what you can do? You can use that energy to invite others into this truth. Because that is what it's going to take. It's going to take us to build a larger community. We're going to have more people. And those people are hungry. They're starving for all of us. All of you. Bring forth that light so well that there are so many people that want to be a part of your circle. And I'm not saying you have to invite them over every week for dinner or anything like that. No, the circle of truth is what they're looking for. The circle of beholding the Christ within each other. People are starving for that. How many people do you know that just, once you, our oldest daughter, she has issues, depression issues and stuff, and we adopted her at 5, and but she does so well sometimes. But this week she's posted some stuff on Facebook, so I was like, oh my gosh, she's down the hole again. So I just call her and I say, well, I'm praying for you. I'm sending you love. I know you were so happy last week, and just tag on to that. So she's got somebody that she was just kept responding to. So pretty soon I see her response start changing. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm beholding the Christ in her. I'm sending her love. I know it's working, and it's shifting her thoughts because I see beyond the thoughts that she's thinking, and it works. We just have to be open and receptive to inviting others to come play with us, to be a part of that truth and that light that we know. And we can invite them to come to church on Sundays, especially when we have potluck, because people love food, or come to trivia night, or to one of the classes, or come to the meditation. A lot of people are curious about meditation these days. Although we've been doing it forever, they are curious, and so invite them to a meditation thing. There's all kinds of things that you can do to bring them forth to unity and expose them to all this wonderful energy that all of you are just illuminating this room with. Right?
Right.
So, time. We're talking about time. Have you ever thought about something you can do to give back some time or talents to this ministry? I found this. It's probably a logo for somebody, but I just thought it was neat because it's hands, and it says engage your time and talents. It's not just about giving your time and talents. It's about engaging your time and talents. A few examples of people doing this is, one, Bill comes in every week for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes twice a week. Sometimes he comes in for longer, and helps with the book work, which is such a blessing, and he does that lovingly and caringly, and we love that. Giselle recently transformed the flower pots out front and out back with clippings from her own yard, and they look fabulous, don't they? And the thing about it is she just didn't even stop there. She comes by twice a week and waters them, which saves me from having to water the plants. And this is the first time in a long time that I haven't had to water plants. So thank you, Giselle and Bill. You know, and there are people who are always willing to serve. Our musicians and vocalists, they give of their time, you know, to this ministry. I don't know if you know that. You know, Jez gets paid as our music director for putting everything together, but everybody else does it for the love of their heart, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. We have a lot of people that are willing to step up and help us, you know, if we ask, and you know who you are, and we appreciate that, and we love that, but there are always opportunities for people to give back more, and it is going to take all of us to give some time, whatever it is, to help make this ministry bigger and better. We have volunteer teams, and some of them are active, some of them are not. Here's a list of them that we need to keep pumped up, you know? And I'll tell you what, when you are working as a team to do something, you're building friendships, you're building community, you're building that bond between each other that, you know, helps you create more light and more illumination. So giving of your time in one of these capacities is wonderful. We have lists out there on the hallway across from the men's restroom of the, I call them job descriptions, but they're really just criteria for each job and a list of who is on those teams. But you can even talk to somebody on one of those teams. But, you know, it's just like the flowers or the greeters. You know, all those things help make Sunday morning run well. The audio visual up there, it has to be working and it has to be manned and it has to happen to where we can be successful and have a seamless service. Some of these things aren't being done right now. Well, actually, the only thing that really isn't totally active, I should say, is marketing and social media. We do Facebook. Sandra posts. I know you have posted, Mindy posted some of that stuff, but we're going to work on that. And then the youth ed, of course, we're working on. The Sunshine team is the people who bring your cakes every month and send out your birthday cards, so that's a cool team. And those people, the people on that team, they don't even have to, you know, they get the list and they do their own thing at home and bring that cake once a month. So there's things that you don't even have to be visible in this building to do. But it's going to take all of us to come forth and be active and volunteer and do some things. Give up your time. The other thing too is that you might have a talent that we could use here that I don't even know about. And that would be great too. If you have an idea or you have something you want to share or that you can do, fill out, put it on a prayer slip and stick it in the offering jar, or email us. Our email or phone numbers are on the bulletin, or call us and we'll set up an appointment to get together and talk, because we want to hear what you would like to share and do, and it's all doable. So, you know, check that out and think about that for giving your time and talent. The thing about doing this too is when you give your time and talent, you are living from spiritual principle and you are illuminating your light once again, working with other people who are lighting their world too. So it's a great way just to give back to this ministry and give back to yourself. Yeah. We'd love to have you share your time and talents with us and let your light shine. You can make a difference. Our fifth unity principle is, make a difference in the world. So you're not only living by a spiritual practice, you're living by a unity principle. You're living also by the spiritual law of cause and effect and the law of giving and receiving, because whatever you give will come back to you. It will. It will truly do that. So the fourth thing is treasure, and nobody ever likes to talk about treasure because you automatically think of the other T word that people don't like to talk about. But there's a lot of things you can do. Treasure is giving up your money in some form to this ministry. The other T word is tithe. People don't like to talk about that. But there is other ways that people give back their money or treasure to the church. Like I said, the birthday cakes. We get yarn and gift cards for the prayer shawl team. I was trying to think. People bring paper goods for hospitality. People bring food to share. All of those are giving your money in some form to this ministry. The thing about it is that it's not, if you're not giving in a loving manner, then you're not really giving. You know, Charles Fillmore always said, keep your money in your pants if you're not going to give with love. It's true. Because if you are giving because you think you have to, or you have to tithe because you're going to go to hell if you don't, or you know, any of those things, you know, or God, somebody's going to expect me to bring my W-2 in and check it. No, you know, that is not what we do here at Unity. We live off of love offerings, which include tithes and monetary gifts, and, you know, people have given big money to the building fund, and, you know, us being able to do that. All of that is all good, but it's going to take more money, more people, and we have to give more of ourselves in order to be successful. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, you know. But when we give from love, it's easy to sustain this ministry. But if we're not getting more people and we're not giving with love, then guess what's going to happen? I'll have to say bye to all you guys because the church won't be here anymore. You know, we want to keep it going. We want to keep this illuminated. We want to shine our lights, and we can all do it, right?
Right.
Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't scare you away with the T word, did I? Okay, so if you're still with me, and we're going to affirm some things together. Here's the first one. Please say it with me. We must spark the passion within us to light up all that we are, so that we are able to invite others with confidence to be a part of our community we feel so strongly drawn to in spirit. You agree? Yes. All right. The next one. This is why it is important for us to give of our time and talents to make this home the best it can be and be ready to embrace a new and improved version of this home at the new campus. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Still with me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, here we go. This is why we must give like we have never given before, to bring about a financial shift in our energy so we are able to build the new campus and afford to continue to build all of our consciousness to a new level of spiritual understanding. You got me?
Yes.
Still with me?
Yes.
Yay! Well, then I say we are ready together to let it shine. Thank you for being here today.